This is the Lobo Pod with the voice of the Lobos, Robert Portnoy.
Hello, Lobo fans. Welcome into your Lobo Pod, a gridiron edition. With New Mexico coming off a huge win over Washington State, the Lobo Pod is presented by Green Summit Landscape Management. I'm your host, Robert Portnoy, and we have one of the Lobos' outstanding running backs. Eli Sanders is with us. Eli, good to see you, man. How are you?
Good to see you. I'm doing well.
This has got to be a pretty exciting time for the Lobos right now, isn't it?
Super exciting time. You know, we're all happy, all excited, enjoying the huge win over Washington State.
Yeah, and I would imagine with the bye week, there's a chance to maybe savor for just a little bit of extra time because you guys get a couple days off?
Right. Maybe just a couple, maybe one day or so, but after that, it's all ready for Hawaii.
Okay, well, we'll talk about business here in just a minute, but let's keep looking back for the moment, and let's take a peek at some of the highlights from the finish of the huge win over nationally ranked Washington State. They're 19th in one poll, they're 18th in another poll, and really this key drive here where you guys take the lead, it gets kickstarted on this 3rd and 2. What's the play call here when you break it around the left sideline, big 33-yard gain?
This play right here was called boundary zoom, just like one of our speed option plays to the outside. And, you know, Devin has the opportunity to pull or give. And, you know, he gave me that one, so I just made the most of it.
And then Dev's touchdown put you in front. We could see there 21 seconds remaining. Now you're on the sideline holding your breath right here. What's going through your mind?
You know, I had all faith in our defense. This was going to get knocked down or intercepted. So, you know, when the ball was in the air, it was kind of victory after that. I knew it was going to touch the floor after that. And then once the ball hit the floor, it was all celebrations, joys, and it was just a moment I'll forever remember.
Yeah, what do you remember? Or did you kind of black out for a minute?
When the ball hit the ground, it kind of was like goosebumps. You know, it finally kind of hit me. A couple seconds after that, we have taken down the ranked opponent that we kind of practiced for all week. And, you know, it was just a blessing after all.
When you hear that New Mexico hadn't beaten a ranked team in 21 years, and you guys kind of etched your little spot in Lobo football lore, in Lobo football history. Regardless of what happens for the rest of the year, you'll always be able to look back at that ranked win. Right. How cool is that?
It's definitely a blessing, and definitely, you know, super excited for the team and our coaching staff as well. You know, they poured their hearts into us, and, you know, we believe in them. So, you know, just to come away with that victory was huge.
Lobo fans have seen some of the post-game celebrations in the locker room with the breaking of the rock.
Right.
You guys chanting for Bronco post-game, calling for him. Can't wait for him to get to the locker room to get that started. What are those moments like, Eli?
You know, it's a feeling that you can hardly describe. It's something you'll forever remember. You know, Bronco's trying to come in here and not only change the program, but change the community. So, you know, we're all buying into that. And, you know, when you have those wins and you have those feelings, you just want to just celebrate it all together.
And I guess you want more and more and more of that, don't you?
Right. You just want to keep winning.
Coach Mendenhall talked about framing the bigger picture for you guys. And he discussed that, yes, I had to address it straight up front. We have 3 games left. We need 3 wins to get to bowl eligibility. Let's talk about it, and then let's put it in the back of our mind and focus on the game right in front of us. But to sit here now with 1 left, and you guys have gotten the first 2, to have that opportunity, so exciting, right?
Super exciting. You know, every week is just 1-0. Our focus is 1-0, win the game that week presents us, you know. So it was 3-0, but, you know, every week is just 1-0 for us.
Well, now you've got 5 wins. That hadn't happened since 2016 for the Lobos, so already a very big deal. What has this first season with Coach Mendenhall running the ship for New Mexico been like for you?
You know, it's been honestly, it's been a blessing. You know, Coach Mendenhall came in here and he gave it to us straight. This was how it's going to go. And, you know, we have to buy in or either get out. So, you know, a lot of people bought in and some others chose to, you know, didn't really believe in what he's saying. But the group of us that stayed, you know, it was a blessing when he came in, and, you know, we just never take it for granted each and every day. You know, we run to that facility, to any meeting, any workout we have. You know, it's just a truly blessing that he came to the University of New Mexico, and, you know, is really changing this whole place around.
Expand on that, because everybody to a man has said that when you had that first conversation with him individually, he said he was going to challenge you like you'd never been challenged before, that he was going to help you get more out of yourself than and maybe you didn't even believe you had in you, that it was going to be the hardest thing you ever did. Has it been that, and how's it gone?
Right. When he says he's challenged you, he's not only challenging you on the field, he's challenging you off the field. He wants you to be the best you can in your classes, in study hall, and just in your community as well. So, he challenges on the field with, the hardest workouts I've ever endured and, been a part of. So, it's just at the end of the day, I just look at it as a blessing.
Yeah, we can ask now after the fact. You guys have been through it. You've earned jersey numbers. What is the interview like? What is that workout like?
Man, there's the interview is something that you'll forever remember that as well. It's something, you never know when you're going. There's he'll set the dates for the interviews, and then every day someone's called. So, you never know when your day. You just have to be prepared. And that interview is all you can give for 2 hours, and then it's just kind of you leave it all at the line and right in front of him, and you show him like just how much you can give.
Is that the most exhausted you've ever been?
That was one of the times, probably my most exhausting time in my life, yes.
We have Eli Sanders with us here on the Lobo Pod, and it's just great to talk about what he has done to change the culture of the program. Coach Mendenhall, now that you're 11 games in, think back to December, and those initial conversations when he's on campus and you guys are getting ready to go through your first workouts, and it's cold out and all that stuff. And now here you are. We're sitting together in November, right, and you have a chance to go 6-6 and make it to bowl eligibility, and kind of the journey traveled.
Right. It was kind of nerve-wracking, coming in January with the staff, not knowing really what to expect, not really understanding what he's really saying yet. But, throughout the months, throughout the hard-fought games, practices, ups and downs we've had, it just brings the team closer. And, you wouldn't want it any other way with any other group of guys. So it's just been a great experience.
You had 3 seasons at Iowa State. What is the atmosphere around this program like? Your first year as a Lobo, family first is clearly something that's very important to Coach Mendenhall. And we know about earned, not given, but compare this experience and what it's meant to you.
You know what? It's truly been a blessing. And, it's more than just football with Coach Mendenhall. He wants you to be a better man, be a better son, be a better, boyfriend, just really help the community, always give back more than you take. So, just hearing that from your head coach and the whole coaching staff, even your position coach preaching on that is just a just a huge opportunity for just life lessons you'll take forever.
The concept of "and" he talks about, you're a football player, and you're a student, and you're a member of your community. It seems like you guys have all really fully bought into that.
Right. There's huge community service opportunities that, I attend every week, children's hospital visits. You just make someone feel more than what they are, and, just bring life back into that kid. So it's just truly a blessing that he gives us that opportunity, and then grow closer with our faith on Sunday. We have all Sunday off just to, no matter what we want to do, it's just a real great opportunity that we have with him.
Well, let's talk about your buddy Richard Pierce and his OLine right now. They're doing something exactly like that with, they've decided to contribute their NIL money, and now they're raising money. They hope to feed 100 families, turkeys for 100 needy families here in Albuquerque for Thanksgiving. That's pretty cool.
Right. That's amazing. It's a huge opportunity for them. It's just a blessing to see them want to give back to the community and show the love and care they have for them and use their own money to support other families in need. So, that's truly just an amazing opportunity.
Well, Eli, let's give the fans a chance to get to know you just a little bit. Start with growing up in Oceanside, just north of San Diego, right?
Right. Just, growing up in Oceanside was fun. Went to the beach a lot, hung out with my friends, playing Pop Warner ball. We all kind of grew up in the same area, knew what kind of middle school Pop Warner teams we were going to play for. So, we kind of just stayed together. And then after that, it was the transition to Arizona.
So what's Eli's favorite thing when you go to the beach? Like you're a kid and you're going to the beach in San Diego. Are you, do you surf? Are you a boogie board guy? When you're going, and did you go all the time? Yeah,
so I was like really a water activity. I love to be in the water. I did junior lifeguards growing up, so just being in the water for me was just kind of like my comfort zone. And I kind of picked up on the surfing a little bit. Boogie boarding's real fun, body surfing. So there's definitely a lot of activities in the waters that I'm a fan of. Jet skiing. So just being by the water in general just kind of just felt at home.
Jet skis are awesome.
Amazing.
Okay, so how old were you when you transitioned from San Diego to the Phoenix area?
I believe I was around 14, 15 going into my freshman year of high school.
Okay, so you settled in into high school in Arizona, and I know you had a couple different experiences in terms of your high school football in Arizona, right?
Right. Transferring, I went from California to Arizona. I first started off at Mountain Point High School. I transferred there with my sister. She was a senior when I was a freshman, so I was able to get 1 year with her in high school, and then I did 2 seasons there at Mountain Point, and then actually 2 seasons, right? And then I made the transition to Chandler.
So 2 seasons at Mountain Point. That's South Phoenix area?
South Phoenix, yes.
Yeah. What was the competition like?
It's huge in Arizona. There's a lot of great teams, great football teams, high school football teams in Arizona. So there's huge competition. Going into Mountain Point, they were highly ranked school in Arizona. So I knew there was a lot of competition there, a lot of dudes that could play ball. So, just going in there was exciting, competing for a spot. It was a great opportunity.
Fans might not know you were a tremendous track star, too. Was your first 4x100 state title when you were at Mountain Point?
Yes, that was my first one. My freshman year, I actually won it on the 4x1 team on varsity with the guys. So it was a great win with Mountain Point.
And so you got to do it again. Then you won a 4x100 at your next stop at Chandler, too, right?
Right. I think we run 2 of those, 2 4x1s at Chandler, and then a couple 100-meter races. So track was definitely, when football was over, track was fun.
So when the Lobos see you running away from the secondary on the back end of those runs, they shouldn't be surprised.
Right. Just came from track.
Were you always the anchor guy, or did you kind of grow into that spot?
I usually started off first leg.
You were the leadoff guy.
At Chandler, I started off first leg because we had a kid by the name of Karan Adams. He actually went to Iowa State with me. He ran a 10-4 his freshman year, so he was our anchor dude. We knew that we just had to get the baton to him, and then he would close it out for us.
What was your best 100 time?
I believe I ran 10-6, my best one at State.
Outstanding. Yeah. I'm sure you've done a bunch of 40s over the course of your lifetime too. What's the best 40?
I haven't ran too many 40s. I haven't really went to too many camps that time the 40 here. But when Coach Mendenhall came here, he kind of put tests on numbers on us, and I believe I ran a 4.4.
Okay, unbelievable stuff. So the high school experience. One of those things that you got a chance to do was compete against Devin Dampier. And it happened early in Dev's career. He was a sophomore at Pinnacle, and it was his first year at quarterback as the starter at Pinnacle. And you guys played a game. It didn't go very well for Pinnacle. Chandler, your school at the time, your final 2 years at Chandler, rolled. The final score was 64-0. Back in August during training camp, I had Dev on the show, and we talked about that game, and I wanted you to get a chance to listen to Dev talk about it.
At Pinnacle, that was the first time I got to play him, and the end of that score was maybe 61-0. So, but what's crazy, I just talked to Eli about this. So he had 4 touchdowns on us, and I was like, dude, this running back is crazy.
And he's playing for Chandler High School?
Yes, he was at Chandler High School during this time, and I just put the 2 pieces together that was him when he got here. So I had no clue what running back scored 4 touchdowns on us on their senior night. But I finally put it together. That was Eli, and I was like, dude, that is insane.
So he let you guys
up. Like, bro, you were good. I'm expecting big things from you now you're on my team. You better ball like that against other people.
Okay, so now you've seen that, and now you know that Dev actually didn't put 2 and 2 together until you guys were both on campus here, your first year here, this being your first year. What was the first conversation like with Dev when you talked about that game, and he's like, wait a minute, the guy who went for 4 touchdowns, that's you? That's Eli Sanders? That's you?
Yeah, I remember that game. It was my senior night. I remember Dev was on the QB. He had his brother on there, and they had an outstanding tight end as well, but that was my senior night, and I just remember I just couldn't lose on my senior night. And then, coming to New Mexico and then knowing Dev was here and Dev being this quarterback, it was it was kind of funny. I kind of still tease him to this day about the game. It's all over YouTube, so we kind of watch it here and there. But, I'm just so proud to be his teammate now that we can go out there and kind of just do what I did to him, but against together.
When you see those two big runs, those two big touchdowns that we just showed there, does it sort of bring back memories for you?
It brings back a lot of memories, playing on that Chandler High School field, playing against Dev, playing with that squad. It was definitely a fun time in life.
So now fast forward, that's the game against Pinnacle. You also played Saguaro. You won a state championship against Saguaro. One of those, Javen Jacobs was on the team, on the Saguaro team. That's where Dev would eventually go, and they would do that. They would win a state championship and avenge a defeat to Chandler that had occurred before Dev got there. But, man, your 2 years at Chandler, unbelievable, right?
Right. I think I won two state titles and two track meets, two track kind of state titles as well.
Okay. And two undefeated state championships. I think it was an 11-0 and a 13-0.
Right. It was, we had like I'm not too sure of the numbers, but it was like a plus 50 win streak coming into Chandler. So, with those 2 seasons back to back, it definitely put us high up there. And I think my senior year, Max Prep came out and put us at like number 3 in the nation.
A phenomenal high school career at both Mountain Point and Chandler. You had some choices too coming out of high school in terms of where you decided to go to college first. You went to Iowa State. Did I read correctly that it was between Iowa State and Iowa at the finish that you decided you were going to go to one of those two?
It kind of came down to 5, then it came down to like 2, and the main 2 were Iowa State.
The two rivals.
Right. So
how'd you choose between the two of them?
It was COVID. It was COVID during my recruiting time. So, I couldn't really take a visit. There was no official visits. There was no like kind of in-person recruiting. So, I kind of did my own thing. My parents took me up to Iowa. We did our own tour again with the 2 schools. And, I kind of just, it was kind of like a virtual kind of thing we did over the phone with Iowa State and Iowa. Iowa State just made me feel at home the most. I kind of believed in what they were telling me, and I just made the decision from there.
You just mentioned your parents, Steve and Kelly. Let's talk about them for a minute. You told me that mom, Kelly, was a volleyball player?
Right. She played at NAU.
And you got some athletic genes on both sides because dad was a football player?
Dad played 1 season at the University of Washington.
Tell me about the influence that they had on you growing up and how important that they are to you.
They're my biggest supporters, and I thank them every day for everything they've done for me. They long nights, early mornings. So, whatever I can do to just repay them every day and just thank them for the, just the blessings and just the opportunities they put me in, the positions they put me in. It's just truly amazing.
How much did Dad get involved with your training as a football player when you were a youth?
He's been my coach ever since high school. So he was my Pop Warner coach ever, all up to high school. Training with him on days off. Early mornings. I just forever I can remember. It's just been my pops. Just been there football with my mom coming home making lunch for us. We're back out on the field. So it's a great blessing to have him in my life.
If I pinned you down and you had to say, who was the better athlete, mom or dad? Would you pick one?
I don't think I could pick that one. I might not be able to go home this break. So
that's awesome. What were those early morning workouts that Dad put you through like? I mean, did they kind of get you ready for what you're doing now?
I had to lose some weight to play in this Pop Warner team. So, before the game, it was like 5 a.m. hill runs with trash bags on, trying to shred this, make this weight and stuff like that.
So you're sweating it out in plastic? Sweating
it out in plastic bags just to make the weight for the game. And then, as soon as I made weight, I was shoving something in my stomach to eat so I'd have fuel to go. So, we were doing that for a couple of years. So, it was just the grind of that and everything paying off. Feels amazing.
So you couldn't play if you didn't make the weight?
If I didn't make the weight.
So Dad just absolutely worked you hard to make sure that happened. Huh?
Right. The day of the game, we would just wake up, go get a couple trash bags on, run a hill, and I would be 3-4 pounds under for weigh-ins, and then I would be right there.
So you're running around in a hefty bag, literally?
Right.
That's awesome. When did he sort of step back? Because at some point, right, now you have coaches that you're working with full-time as you get older. Did it start sort of when you got to Arizona and you get into high school, or had he already started to maybe give some more space for some other coaches?
Right. Growing up, I was playing baseball and football. So, when high school came around, it was kind of just main focus on football for me. So that's when he kind of stepped back, and I had a great running back coach at Chandler High School, great high school head coach as well. So he believed in them.
Who are they? Shout them out.
Our head coach Rick Garrison, Coach E was my running back coach, but he was also the track coach. So I didn't have really a say if I was running track or not. I had to run track because he was my running back coach. So Coach Eric, he's a great guy. Thankful for everything they did for me at Chandler as well. So,
what is the translation? Track and football, and how did one make you better in the other?
Right. It was almost like you stayed in shape year round, football coming first, and then track, it would maintain your speed up, build speed, stamina and stuff like that. So, it was just a kind of like a year round. You felt you were in shape and you're always ready to go when football season came around. Okay.
So you're at Iowa State. How lucky are you that your freshman year in that running back room is a fellow named Bree Hall?
Coming in, knowing Bree Hall was there, it was just like it was an unreal moment. Every day I took notes on just what he did on and off the field. It was more of like how he studied, how he prepped his body, what he put into his body nutritionally wise, So it was just like the stuff I learned from Brees, it's undescribable. I just thank him still to this day. We just talked this morning, so he became one of my closest friends. So, I'm just so thankful for that.
Yeah, you told me that you consider him your best friend, and he would kind of beat you down on Madden and NCAA.
Yeah, he's pretty good at those type of games. He uses himself, so it's kind of unbeatable. So
that's not right.
Not right at all.
Plays Bree Hall on the Jets.
Right.
So does that still happen occasionally? You guys jump on?
Yeah, occasionally when we have a kind of like a bye week, like something like this, or when he has some time off, we'll get on the game. But usually we're pretty busy.
How much help has he given you since he's gotten to the league?
He's been a huge mentor to me, just being there when I need some advice, or even just like watching some of the games he can watch and just giving me some tips on what to do here, there, and just been a huge mentor for me.
You said that Brees was the mentor, but Brock Purdy was an inspiration. You also had him your freshman year, but because of, the whole last pick in the draft, the Mr. Irrelevant, and now starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, been to a Super Bowl, that whole thing, super inspirational for you?
Huge inspirational for me, knowing I'm going to practice and seeing them guys every day, just seeing how they prepare and how they work. It was just truly, it almost just built a fire in me and just wanted to be like them. And, I'm super proud of Brock and everything he's done. He's been a great guy for me as well, So it's just super proud of those two and just grateful that I was in that opportunity.
So they're your teammates at Iowa State, and I'm sure it was not an easy decision. 3 years at Iowa State to make a change, but you told me that it was time for a change. Why?
You know what? I was just looking somewhere where I felt like I needed to be valued more than I was at Iowa State, and it's always good for a change, just being a little closer to home, my parents being there for me and just ready just to start something new, try something else out.
So the University of New Mexico, how'd you decide on the Lobos?
Actually, it was kind of weird. When I was driving from Iowa to Arizona, we came through Albuquerque, and I stopped here just to look at the football. I didn't have an offer yet. I didn't have any contact with the coaches. It was just kind of stopped and looked here, and it was very nice. I kind of just didn't think about too much of it. And then I think like a day later, 2 days later, I got the call from Coach Gardner, and he was just like, "We love your film. We need you to buy in. If this is somewhere you want to be, we can make it happen." And then from there, I took an official visit and just fell in love with what Bronco wanted to do for this community and what he wanted to do for this team. So that's how I kind of made the decision.
Do you remember who hosted you when you came for your official?
It was Coach Gardner. It was kind of like their first week too, so it was kind of, we were bouncing off each other, like, what do you want to see? What can you see? Because it was both of our first week. So
where'd you guys go?
We went to Top Golf, and then we just did like a little dinner night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
outstanding. Well, clearly, Coach Garner and Coach Mendenhall and everybody made a pretty strong impression.
Huge impression on me, and especially on my family. They kind of just made it seem like this is where I needed to be, and this is where the path I needed to take. So I took the chance, and I'll never regret it and never look back. This was probably the best decision I made.
All right. Well, it certainly has worked out for you. You are on an amazing run right now. Let's take a peek at some of the highlights of the season for you up to this point. Let's start with a Lobo win over the Air Force Falcons, and things start to really get going for you. I believe this game is where you find the paint for the first time as a Lobo, right?
First time as a Lobo, I found the end zone twice this game. So, that feeling right there is something I'll forever remember. You can't forget about the OLine. They're making those holes as big as they can for you and just moving guys to make the work look easy on my end.
You guys, and we know it's not, but you guys made it look easy offensively in that game. It felt like the New Mexico run game and the offense just controlled this game from start to finish. Like you always had the Falcons at arm's length. How were you able to do it? It was a really impressive performance.
Right. You got to give it to the O-line. They came out there with a different mentality. We're going to get this run game going a little bit. So, we finally got it started off, and then from there it kind of just took off. Everyone bought in. Everyone believed in each other. We knew if we just hold the blocks maybe just a second longer, it will break, and then they started to break a little more, and stuff started rolling from there.
So you have a penchant for long touchdowns. The TD runs against Air Force were 31 and 35, 5 carries, 80 yards, and 2 scores. Now let's go to Utah State, and we're in Logan. And again, this was a barn burner of a game against the Utah State Aggies.
Right, coming down to the end, I had the kind of like the game-sealing touchdown. Some might have said I should have went down, but from there I could all just think about we were down, so I just wanted to put us up and, give the defense, put the ball in the defense's hand to get the stop. They trust us just like how we trust them. So, if I could get in the end zone one more time and give it to the defense, we would close the game out.
So 2 more scores, like you said, and there's the second one. It came with $1:13 on the clock. You finished 14 carries, 75 yards, and 2 touchdowns with the game-winning score with just over a minute to go. It turns out to be huge. To me, you see the paint. It's hard not to go, right?
It is hard not to go, with just it being a couple yards away, you want to just get in there. But, yeah, that's really how it feels when you see it just wide open right there.
Those end game scenarios are kind of tricky, though, aren't they?
Right.
Right.
Some get kind of hairy, but my main goal was just to put us in the lead.
No, it absolutely worked out. Hard to believe that you had as much production as you did at Iowa State, and you didn't have a 100-yard game. I went through and looked. You had a terrific performance at TCU. This was your 2022 season. A game that didn't go well for Iowa State because TCU was 4th ranked in the country, but 91 yards that day. And then your redshirt sophomore season, 2023, you played in 9 games, your best season as a Cyclone, 477 total yards. You averaged almost 5 yards a carry, by the way. Impressive. Found the end zone 4 times. You had 99 against TCU. And that was probably a big game for you and for your team because they had really put it on you the year before,
right?
When they were nationally ranked, and you guys came back and beat them at home. You had a 4-yard touchdown in that game, and you guys won 27-14.
Yeah, it's a surreal feeling. The Jack is a stadium, that kind of you don't feel anywhere else. So it was a great atmosphere at the Jack, and it was a great time to be a Cyclone during that time.
Another big game for you was at Baylor. You guys won that one 30-18, but again, 90 yards. So a couple of times you hit 90. 3 times, in fact, 90, 91, and the 99.
Right.
But never reached triple digits. The first time it happened for you was as a Lobo. And let's take a look at the highlights from the Wyoming game, because not only did you clear 100 for the first time, Eli, but you cleared 2 bills for the first time. You finished with 205. What about this day? And I know it's bittersweet because the Lobos didn't finish and didn't win, but my goodness, you had to be on cloud 9 this day.
Rushing for 200 is something that, you can only dream to do. For me to rush for 200 and 2 touchdowns, it was just truly a blessing and great opportunity I'll never forget. Just being there with the team, having the team support your back, running those long runs and going to the sideline and just celebrating with your team and watching the O-line put in the work the week before and just really buying in is just truly a blessing.
So here's the 75-yarder. 34 yards and 75 yards were your 2 touchdowns against Wyoming. 17 carries, 205, and 2 trips to the house. First off, were mom and dad in the stands for that one?
Yes, my family actually has made every game so
Fantastic.
far as a collegiate athlete. So, I'm super blessed there and that they have the opportunity to do that.
So they haven't missed, whether at Iowa State or New Mexico.
Right.
They've been every game, home or road.
Home or road, or, even like next week how we go to Hawaii, it doesn't really matter the distance. They'll be there.
What an amazing support system you have.
Amazing. truly my favorite people.
Wow, that's really cool. Okay, so big day against Wyoming. This was a big win for New Mexico. Let's take a peek at San Diego State. Another huge game for you, this time for a $173 and 2 long touchdowns, and they come in the first quarter, both of them, 51 yards and 68 yards. Tell us about these, Eli.
You know, this was kind of like homecoming part 2. The first homecoming was Arizona, but this one was back home in San Diego, so my mom's side of the family was there. So, you know, I just wanted to give it my all, you know, going for these long runs, feel amazing, but it's just even better with the team win after. That's the main part of the game. It's just the team win, you know, coming back to the sideline, having your guys support you in the end zone, and just knowing that they believe in you and you believe in them.
So mom's side of the family's in the stands. How many people was that?
I think I had to put in like 15 tickets.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Rewind. So because it wasn't a great day for New Mexico with a loss in Tucson, although very competitive, certainly for at least the first 30 minutes. You guys have shown that every single week you've been competitive. Doesn't matter the opponent, Arizona, Auburn, Fresno State, Montana State, whatever. You guys are in every single game. But how many people were in the stands when you guys were in Tucson?
Tucson was one of my larger crowds. I think it was like 25 to 30 tickets I had to put in that game. So it was definitely a huge crowd. My dad's family, they're pretty big in sports, and you know, so I had definitely a lot of tickets to put in.
Are they all in the Phoenix area?
They're all in Tucson.
They're all in Tucson.
So
okay.
it was really a home game for them. It was a 15-minute drive. So
how did you guys choose Phoenix when you moved from the San Diego area? How did you guys choose Phoenix?
I believe my dad had a job opportunity in Phoenix, so we just moved there to the Ahwatukee area, and that's where the South Phoenix Mountain Point High School District is. So that's how we ended up in that side of town.
And not too far away, right? It's just another few minutes farther east to get to Chandler. That's right?
Right.
Right, from Ahwatukee?
Yep. Just further east. It's about probably a 20-minute drive to Chandler from there. And then we eventually moved to the Chandler School District. That's when I transferred to Chandler. And so for me, it was probably about a 5-minute drive from there.
Gosh, that's really cool. So you didn't live in Tucson, but since Dad's from Tucson, the whole family was there. That's why the big crowd. It really could you see them in the stands? Like,
yes.
Did you know exactly where they were?
I could see everyone's jerseys. I could see the huge pod they were sitting in. So now my mom and dad live in Tucson. So for that game, it was like I said, it was a home game. So
right. That's just fantastic. Okay. So the big win over San Diego State. You guys get to hit the victory formation, and this path to a bowl game. 3 consecutive wins. You've got to start it. Right. That was the first domino that had to fall. The next one is Washington State, and it's at home. And we already took a look at the end game, but I want to take a peek at your highlights because you had another hundo, this time 108, another big touchdown, a 26-yarder. Here it is. What about playing Wazoo in University Stadium?
You know, we knew it was a huge game, but every game's a huge game for us. You know, we don't take anyone lightly depending on who we play. Every game we prepare for the same thing. So, you know, we knew this was a huge game. We knew we had to go 1-0 to just compete with our dreams and our goals. So, you know, this was huge for us, and, you know, we're super excited, super glad we could get it done.
That's the big run there at the finish down the sideline, 33 yards that helped set up New Mexico for the go-ahead touchdown. The range of emotions in that game. Take us through it, because the start is good.
Right.
You guys go right down and score, but then they're unstoppable in the first half, and you're down 28-14 at halftime. What was talked about at halftime?
You know, going into the locker room at 28-14, you know, it's tough. You know, you just kind of you huddle your guys together and just, how bad do you guys really want it? How bad do you guys want to fight? And, you know, coming out of the locker room, it was like a new team. It was a different mentality we had. You know, we couldn't lose. Everyone in our heads knew we could not lose this game. So, you know, we came out and gave it our all, and, you know, the all was enough.
It was enough. Shout out your defensive guys, because it just seems like week after week here down the stretch now, they maybe get rocked in the first half, but they come out so strong in the second half. Washington State had the ball first. I mean, it could have been a 3-score game before you guys even saw the ball. They held Washington State twice before you guys scored to make it 28-21. the defense has been tremendous in the second half of games here lately.
Huge shout out to the defensive guys, defensive coaching staff, everyone on the defensive side of the ball. They come out different mindset second half, and they know if they stop them a few times and give it back to us, we're gonna go put the ball in the end zone. So them believing in us and we believing in them. Week after week we can just get it done.
Well, they did it 4 times in a row in the second half. Is it the case with just some teams, or does it happen frequently? Or is this team unique? Because it feels like to me that there's a really strong connection between the offense and the defense, that you've got guys in their little pods and position groups. They do their individual stuff, and they're not always together. And then you come together for the team stuff. But it feels like this unit, the collective of, over 100 guys, is really strong.
Right. When we say we're a team, we're truly a team. We can call on anyone, no matter what side of the ball you play on, no matter if it's special teams, offense, defense. We're all connected somehow, and we truly believe like we fight for the person next to us. Our brother, we're gonna lay everything on the line for them. And that right there is the definition of a true team.
As far as the running backs are concerned, which guys on the defense do you get closest to? Is it because the linebackers are coming up and run support all the time in practice? Is it those 2 safeties that are running downhill at you, Noah Avenger and right. Christian Elis, or you've got buddies all over the place?
It doesn't really matter what position you play on defense. It doesn't really matter if you're we call them Mad Hatters, you have
the special teams guys.
Special teams, and it doesn't really. You're truly just you're a Lobo at the end of the day. So, we're connected through everything. So, it doesn't really matter what position. Everyone gets along.
It's fantastic. What is the mindset now? As you guys, as we're talking, you're going to get onto the field for the first time here in about 24 hours to begin preparation for Hawaii on the road and a chance to get to 6 wins.
Right. Mindset is just 1-0. Same mindset we had Washington State. They're going to give us their best fight, and we're going to give them our best fight. So this whole week of preparation is just truly just to tighten down on the details. Focus on the little things. And we know what we can do, and it's going to be a great game.
I couldn't wait to ask you this, because to me it is such an important part of what New Mexico does with its offense. And you guys have a great running backs room. I mean, Javen Jacobs and gosh, we're hearing that there's a chance if you guys make a bowl game, he'll be ready to come back and help you out. And maybe who knows? I know he's getting better every day. Soljay Mava-Peters, Nakari Rogers, your entire running backs room. You're so strong. That mesh point. Now that you've gotten a chance to do that so often with Devin, tell us about that. I want to hear from a running back, because, he's making the decision, give or pull, right? And you have to rely on him, but you got to be ready to take it. And how does that work? Because you guys do it so seamlessly. It's just amazing to me.
Right. Just starting with the running back room, all the guys in the room are just great competitors. Every day they come just to compete and make each other better. Just like how you were talking about, everyone's connected on the team. The running back room, we're all connected. We check on each other daily, nightly. Everyone's make sure we're on the same schedule. Our running back coach, Coach Gardner, he's a great guy. He's more than just football as well. He makes sure our family's doing well. If
you guys are really tight?
Real tight with Coach Gardner. You can call on him for anything or any time of the day, So, and now with Dev, that mesh point is just, it's kind of like we kind of talk before every play, we just go through what he sees on the field right before the play. I'll tell him what I think, or I'll tell him what type of footwork I'm going to use on this play, and we kind of just get our minds in sync, and then from there kind of just we rely on the preparation and the practice we've done throughout the week, and we find success that way.
Like that 33-yard run that set the Lobos up on the final drive that ends up being the game-winning touchdown against Washington State. You're coming in jet sweep action on that one. A little bit different type of mesh than when you're standing next to him in the shotgun. But how does the ball not end up on the ground sometimes? You guys are amazing.
Right, we're Dev's super versatile, and he can throw the ball, run the ball, catch the ball if he needs to. He's a freak of nature almost. So, any way we can just confuse the defense a little more than just a normal handoff, we're going to try to do, and just the preparation and the practice we put in throughout the week, it just makes that mesh just feel so comfortable and normal almost.
I'm sure that it's the repetitions, right? But how do you know when it's time? Like when, okay, the ball is mine. Is there something that happens in that mesh point where you know that he's going to leave it, or you can just tell that his hands are coming off the ball?
My first read is kind of like where the defense is lined up on that play. So, if I have immediate pressure, I kind of know Dev's going to pull this one to take it. But usually if I can kind of see the defense push back a couple yards, he's usually going to give that one to me. So, it's just great trust in him, and he has trust in me that either way it's go, it'll be successful.
That's awesome. So you're reading it as much as he's reading it.
Right.
And pretty much it feels like 10 out of 10 times you guys are reading it together and you're reading it the same way. Is that pretty accurate?
Right, pretty accurate. He'll always have the final say in what it is. So, whatever he chooses to do with the ball is the right way.
This has been awesome, Eli. Great spending time with you, and it's been incredible watching this run that the Lobos have gone on here in the back half of the season. To start 0-4 and be where you are at 5-6, to have a chance to be bowl eligible, just incredible. It's great having you as a Lobo, and best of luck against Hawaii.
Thank you for having me.
There it is, Eli Sanders on the Lobo Pod.
The Lobo Pod is a production of UNM Athletics.